Kapoor, 2021 to 2022. I shall be testing my maze generator. Test 1. Does my code ask the user for data? Data can consist of first name, surname, email address, etc. Run the program. Let's go with register. As you can see, the register form asks the user for full name, email, gender, date of birth, and the password they would like to set. So test 1 is a success. Test 1.2 is a bit of a adaptation of test 1. In this, the test 1.2 is to ask the user for information about the maze they would like to generate. For this, I'll go to a separate file which has the maze part. Generate. Let's go with ocean. Enter the cell size in pixels. As you can see, it asks user for cell size of the maze, and then it asks for grid size. This then leads to the maze code itself. Therefore, test 1.2 is a pass. Test 2 is the code human interactive. As shown earlier, where for the code to run, it requires the user to enter inputs and select options in order for it to be complete, and therefore implies the code is human interactive. Without any response from the user, the code won't be able to generate the maze. Therefore, test 2 is a pass. Test 3, does the code self-generate a maze? So for this test is to see whether the maze will be generated after only entering the necessary details. So let's go background color, cell size, so the mini squares on the grid of the maze, and then the giant grid itself. Once entered, the maze is generated by itself without any interference from the user. Therefore, test 3 is a pass. Furthermore, test 4, to display a clear 2D visual of when the program runs. As you can see, we can clearly see the different walls of the maze, the route that needs to be taken in order to get to one end from another, giving the user a clear visual. The user can easily navigate their way if this maze was interactive and playable. Therefore, test 3 and test 4 are a pass. Test 5. Is the user able to customize their maze? As you can see here, the background color according to which area is picked changes. So if volcano is picked, a red color will be used. Forest, a green color will be used. Ocean, blue color, and void, a purple color. Let's see this code and running. So generate. No. Let's go with volcano. 25. As you can see, a red maze is being made. So there's the red option working. Now let's try again. For forest. 25. As you can see, this time a green maze has been made. Now, as we've already seen a blue maze being made, let's see what the purple maze will look like. Twenty-five, and here is the purple maze being made. So test 5, is the maze customizable? Indeed it is. Test 5 is a pass. Test 6. Does the maze solve itself? Does it display a solution to the user? Well, as already shown, it does. But let's test it once more to see how well the solution it is. For this, I am going to select Ocean, so we are going to receive a blue maze. 25 and 25. Blue maze is made, and then a solution is displayed. So does the maze solve itself? Yes, it does. Test 6 is a pass. Test 7. This is more to do with the register and logins themselves. Test 7. Does the start button display a register and login button? Here, so we have a start button. Once clicked, a register and login button are displayed. Test 7 is a pass. Test 8. Does the register button display the register form? So we have a register button here. Once clicked upon, a register form is displayed. Let's click it again. Another register form is displayed. Test 8 is a pass. Test 9. What happens when the correct register details are entered into the register form? So here, let's enter my name, Zatwick. Email, let's say sjp2022@gmail.com. Mail, date of birth, let's go with 3rd of the 3rd of 2022. Password sjp2022, and once again sjp2022. Press submit. See, the generate maze function is called upon. So test 8, what happens when the correct details are entered? Well, it should theoretically bring us to the maze function, which it does. Therefore, test 8 is a pass. Test 8, I mean test 9. Test 9 is a pass. Now let us close this. Okay. Test 10, what happens when the login button is clicked? Well, as just shown earlier, once the login button is clicked, the login form appears. So let's click it again. We receive another login form. Therefore, test 10 is a pass. What happens when the correct values are entered into the login form? Let us just restart this, as once the function is called upon, it doesn't really want to work. But yeah. Okay, login button, login form is called upon. Let us move this to the side. Enter correct details. For this test, I have made 2 lists: full name and password, hero and hero123. So I will enter these here. Hero and hero123. Submit, and the maze function is called upon. So therefore, test 11. What happens when the correct values are entered into login form? Theoretically, the maze function should be called upon, which it is. So therefore, test 11 is passed. Now let us see what happens when the incorrect values are entered. So let's call the login form again. This time, let's say sjp password not correct password. Submit. As we can see, nothing happens, which it should, as they are the incorrect values. So therefore, test 12, what happens when the incorrect values are entered into the login form? Theoretically, the code should not work, not do anything. It's a pass. Oh, let me just go here and then close this. Okay. Test 13. What happens when alphanumeric values are entered into the register form? Run. Oh, that's the shell. Sorry about this. Here we go. Start button. Register form. Register form is here. Alphanumeric values. So here, let's say full name Hero123. Hero123. That's alphanumeric value. Email. This should include special values as well, such as @ stars. Let's see what happens. Hero12 at gmail.com. Okay. Mail. Date of birth. Let's put 12/1/20. And then password. A good password. Let's go with SJP. 3 password. And then quite a weak password. Easy to solve. But that's something else. SJP. Alphanumeric values. As you can see, it still works. Alphanumeric values does not matter. Even special values, the maze is still called upon as they should be accepted. 14. Test number 14. Does the code check whether the password and the confirmed password match? So these two. So let's remove the SJP from both of these to test. Here let's enter, let's say, positive, and here let's enter negative. 2 different words have been entered. Just to make it more obvious that these 2 values are not the same, I'm gonna put -1, 2. So therefore the length of confirmed password is longer than the length of password. So submit. Nothing has happened. Let's press it twice more. Submit. Nothing has happened. Therefore, due to the fact they're not the same, nothing should happen. Therefore, test 14 is a pass. Test 15. Does the submit button activate the maze? Well, let's run the program. Run the module. Here it is. Save time, let's use the login form this time. So, Hero123. Oh, no, we only want Hero. Then Hero123. The submit button, once clicked upon, should call the maze program. Here goes nothing. There we go. Once clicked upon, the maze program has been called. There's the generate maze button. Therefore, test 15 is a pass. For the next test, we're going to be testing what happens to the values that we are entering into the maze. So we shall go here. Test 16. What happens when an alphabetic value is entered into the cell size? Theoretically, the code should not work. So let's select ocean. Alphanumeric value, so let's put 8. If I can spell 8. An error has appeared, as it requires an integer, not a float, or a string in this case. Therefore, test 16 is a pass, as it does not accept a alphabetic value and will only work with an integer. Theoretically, only integers should be entered. So, test 17. What happens when alphabetic value is entered into grid size? So here let's enter 25. And here let's do the same as last time. 8. An error has appeared. Therefore, Tests 17 is a pass as well, as the code does not accept anything other than an integer. Test 18 and test 19 are to see what happens when a non-alphanumeric value is entered into grid size and cell size. So let's select ocean. A non-alphanumeric value, so this would consist of any of the special signs like pound, dollar, star, brackets, etc. So let's go with a bunch of stars. For cell size, theoretically an error should appear, as once again, only integers are accepted. An error appears. So test 18 is a pass. So this time we're going to be testing for grid size, so enter the valid value. Now, let's do this time a lot of hashes. Then enter. Yep, does not accept. Integers only. Okay, so test 19 is also a pass. Test 20 and test 21. What happens when a numeric value is entered into cell size and grid size? So I am going to run the program. Generate size. So let's select the, actually we'll select the ocean plenty of times. Let's go with forest. Let's go with 20 cell size and then a 30 grid size. As we can see, it generates the maze and the code works perfectly. Therefore, just as I predicted, therefore test 20 and test 21 are a pass. Final test, test 22, does my code meet my end user's requirements? My end user's requirements are, is there any specific information they would like to store? No. Yet my code still requests users for the information, cause why not? Next, is there any specific color scheme they would like? They said yes, distinct colors to parts of the maze. I have given that here. The users can generate a red maze, a green maze, a blue maze, or purple maze to whatever they like. And lastly, is there any max dimension cap they would like to place for when users generate the maze? They specified they would not like any limit. So we are going to be testing this. Generate maze. For this, let's select forest, because why not? And let's go with a low number of 5 pixels for cell size and a high number of 100 for grid size. As we can see, the maze is quite small due to the comparison of cell size and grid size, but compared to the previous mazes I have made in this video, this maze is quite big, technically. So to save time, it takes a while to generate such a maze due to the cell size being so small, as the program has to overlay the small grid with a colored rectangle for it to generate the maze, as it is easier to just cover up the sides of the squares that we do not need instead of just deleting them. But as we can see on a closer look, the maze is actually being made and there are tiny walls all over the maze. So to save time, I am going to cancel this and let us try and make a more wider maze, let's say. So ocean, and then cell size 5, and let's go with 200 this time for grid size. As you can see, this maze is quite huge and it will take quite a long time to fully generate, but theoretically there is no maximum limit to how big the maze can be made. As long as the maze can fit on a user's monitor, they should be able to see the entire maze. So test 22 is a pass. Whoops, I accidentally closed the wrong thing. Let's go there. It's the shell I do not want. Yes, kill the program. Yes, theoretically, my user's end requirements, is it customizable? Yes, there is. There are multiple different colors and sizes the user can choose from. Does it take in any specific information? No, but it still does request them. And is there a maximum size? Theoretically, there is no maximum size as I have just shown. That is the end of my testing of my maze generator. Thank you for watching.